Hey, Chrissy here. I am a landscape architect and the owner of Kismet Design. I am a very process-driven designer, and I love sharing what I do and how I do it with anyone who's interested. Reaching your true potential and achieving your own personal goals will not happen by chance. You have to set your intentions, make a plan, and do the work. Thank you for joining me to nerd out on design. Don't forget to subscribe and to share too. Let's create something great together. I was recently having a discussion with another small business owner that I am friends with about balancing being a busy sports mom and being a business owner. I found it so comforting to know that I am not the only one who sometimes wonders how I can possibly get it all done. Funny enough, we each thought each other seemed to have it all figured out and wanted to ask the other, how do you do it all? Well, the secret is we all just do the best we can. Somehow, at the end of the day, the big stuff happens and gets done, and some of the small things have to get pushed back. But, that's all right. There's never enough time for everything all at once. And for those of us that have high expectations and run on a little extra anxiety, we overestimate all the time how much we can pack into a day, how much we can get done. And, each day is sometimes a solid lesson in prioritization, humility, and a little bit of grace. To start off, though, being a parent is a lot of work. Young kids are arguably more work, but as they get older, it's a different kind of work, and the mental load of motherhood changes. Their schedules get busier, and sacrifices have to be made to get them to and from school, practices, games, friends, you name it. It is not a job we can do alone. Even if you are lucky enough to have a spouse with a flexible enough schedule to split the load with, there are still times when you will need to phone a friend. Literally. I feel very fortunate to have friends on my kids' teams that we can share the carpooling load with. It makes a huge difference. The continual juggle of when to do homework and have meals fits into those tiny little gaps. Sometimes we eat dinner in shifts because we aren't all home together until it's time to go to bed. And you know what? We make it work. It's a season, and that season will be over far too soon. Even if some days it feels like we are stuck in the mud and it won't end. But that is just the physical coordination of it all. The mental load is often what feels the most heavy, remembering which child needs to get to practice when school picture day is, when their math test is that they're going to be stressed about, what friend is coming over on Friday, and what I'm going to feed them. What day should I schedule their birthday party for, and who needs to get invited? There's so many things all at once, and I don't know about dads, but for moms, it's a constant ticker feed through my head all the time. And then the arguments over being the bad mom for not letting them have social media because all of their friends have it and it's not a big deal. I know you've heard it. But mom, go ask your dad. But dad told me to ask you. Ugh. Thanks, hon. If you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's a fun little game to pawn it off on each other back and forth, but kids are old enough that they're wise to that game now. Running a business is much like coordinating the needs of another child. For all of you busy moms out there that own your own business, I know you know exactly how I feel. There is a schedule and manage, fees to be paid, supplies to be ordered, friends, also known as clients and colleagues, to connect with and foster relationships with, you name it. It's funny how much building a business feels like raising a child. You want it to eventually run smoothly, leave the nest with a manageable amount of input by you, but to get there, you have to put in the time, to train and establish the routines and expectations, aka systems and processes. As soon as you feel like you've got it set, the market or the industry changes and you've got to figure out the new normal again. Pivot and adjust to keep cash flow and maintain a healthy client load. It's ever changing and throwing surprises your way. I, by no means, have it figured out, and this episode is not intended, unfortunately, to give you answers because, well, I don't have them. It is simply to say you are not alone. Some days it feels like we have it all figured out and the schedule runs smoothly. You make it to all of your appointments on time. Your clients are happy. You've got everything printed the day before the meeting. And then other days it's just hard. You're running late. You're printing last minute. You notice a mistake that you made and you've got to work around it. It happens. Just yesterday, I was stuck in traffic leaving a client meeting and I was late to pick up my son from school. Not super late, and honestly, he likes the extra time to socialize, but sitting in traffic made me stressed knowing I had to be back for my kids, and if I had just taken measurements a little bit faster, I wouldn't be stressed. It happens. I have clients ask for nights and weekends appointments, and sometimes I feel bad for saying no, but I know how important it is to set that boundary for myself and for my family. You guys, I don't even check my email outside of my working time. The only time I check my email on my phone is when I'm in my car to and from meetings and I want to check in on something, or if I am running early, which is always fabulous, and I can sit and actually eat a lunch while I'm not driving and I can check up on emails, but I don't have notifications for my email set on my phone so that I don't get interrupted when I'm in mom mode. It is not always easy, but sometimes I have to remind myself how fortunate, unbelievably fortunate I am to be my own boss and be able to design my schedule around my family and life obligations. Years ago, I would bring my kids into work with me and make them a little bedroll under my desk when they were homesick from school, and I had stuff I had to get done at work. I wasn't able to work remotely, and I didn't have a home office, and I didn't have the same control over my workload and my schedule that I do now. I wasn't able to pick them up from school every day. I had to pay for daycare, and thankfully, they coordinated pickups and drop-offs at school for me. I woke them up early and got home just in time to rush to practices. Now that I am my own boss, I have been able to design my days to pick my kids up. And when we come home, they get a snack and work on their homework while I finish up my work for the day. In the mornings, I head down to my home office to start my day while they are still getting ready for their day. I know the schedule will change as the seasons change, and in 2 years, when my son is in high school, the schedule will change once again, drastically, I'm afraid. I love that I can be there for them, though. Being an entrepreneur awards me that. I know how valuable a flexible schedule is to me as a working mom, and therefore, I let my employees schedule their day around their family life too. Years ago, when one of my employees, my right-hand gal, as you guys all know, Colleen, started working for me, her daughter was still very young and she wanted to be able to be for lack of a better term, a stay-at-home mom, but still wanted to work, didn't want to be full-time. And so she coordinated her work and our meetings and schedules around nap time so that she could get stuff done and work just enough hours to kind of keep in it and get some cash flow while not sacrificing that time with her daughter while she was really young. As motherhood and schedules for her have changed and evolved, she has adjusted her schedule around what works for her family as things change. And I have done the same as life has changed and obligations inside and outside my business and my family change. The more efficient I can design my business, the more time autonomy we both have, while still making a good living to support my family, my business, and employees. I shift my schedule in the summer versus during the school year. In the summer, I have a bigger range of times to schedule meetings, but I love to take a Friday off for a long weekend here and there. During the school year, my workday is chopped up by pickups and drop offs and the return of sports practices 5 and 6 days a week. But those sports practices oftentimes mean that I've got some extra time in the evening when the house is empty to catch up on work if I really need to. But usually I'm playing catch up on laundry. We all need to be reminded to do something for ourselves and not sacrifice our own sanity for the greater good. Whether that is sacrificing yourself to meet family obligations, motherhood obligations, self-imposed obligations, or work obligations. Oftentimes, a lot of those are self-imposed, though, if we're honest with ourselves. As a mother, that is really hard, but I have found that I am better at everything when I feel better. Some days that is taking a break to eat a good lunch or stop by a nursery just to look and enjoy. Sometimes it's going to a yoga class, getting a pedicure, reading a book, whatever it is. It is worth the time. I know I'm right there with you. I struggle to do this. I am getting better. I used to be awful at this. My husband will attest. But if you do it, even if it's not on a frequent basis, just do it when you can and remind yourself to do it more often. You will thank yourself for it later. If you are in the same season of business, motherhood, and life as I am, I just want to say, I'm with you. You're not alone. Your efforts to keep it all running smoothly are not invisible. You have got this. If this is what you needed to hear today, please reach out and let me know. Tag me, share with a friend who could use this camaraderie as well. Thank you so much for listening. I truly hope that you enjoy every episode that you hear. And those of you who subscribe and leave reviews, I give you an extra thank you because that helps more people like us find this podcast. Until next time. To wrap up, I want to thank you for your time. I hope the ideas discussed today have left you feeling excited and energized. As I build both my business and my life, I value the support and feedback you provide. I would love for you to reach out to me to let me know what you think, give me ideas, or just to connect. Please don't forget to subscribe and also share with a friend. Until next time, go create something wonderful.